So there, I'm looking at Australian dollar, US dollar, the Aussie as we call it. Start sharing screen. There was Australian red flag news this morning at 3:30 a.m. I'm on Paris UTC +2. Welcome. If you are wanting to learn how to trade, you can open a broker account for as little as $10. We've got all the information in our guides, and you can come on these Zooms and trade along with us and ask questions as well. Currency strength meter shows Australian dollar 6 bars to US dollar, which means we want to be buying. It's paying out at 87% on this broker. This is a fixed time broker. I can't roll over on this one. You may be using a different one. Trading view, I've set it up. You can see this pullback coming down to 782. I had 783. Well, this is a 5-minute time frame, and the vertical line shows the hour, and this is a key point of interest up here, which I'll go over in a minute. Come over to HourGlass, which is one of the scanners we use. It's just coming up to the hour. I need the US dollar to be selling puts on the 5-minute time scale. We're going the opposite way to the Australian dollar. It's just stuck a bit. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. If I'm going to be buying the Australian dollar, the currency strength is all in our favor. It's a call at 773. It's a call of 3. You can see it can drop lower. The relative strength index is not touched and it's still saying sell. The 200 moving average is in our favor. So I'll just let that. It's 56 to 24, 26. So let's just have a look back on our trading view. I want to see what's happening on the 1 minute. So I've got 757, that's a key point as well, the quarter point as we call it. So it can be strong currencies. I'm on the 1 minute now. They can still move down a little bit. It might not, of course. It's taken that 15-minute line at 772 on the 1 minute. It's got to get up through that area. 789 already on the broker, so I may have missed that move unless it gives me 784. If it pulls back down to the 772, might not come back that. Oh, got it. So, and it's dropped lower. 773. That's what I mean about these strong forex pairs on the majors. They can still have quite a bit of momentum. Now that's dropped to the 765. I did say the other area was that 757 area. So sometimes you can think you've missed the move, and it's like an oil tanker. It'll carry on in the same direction before it turns. So this is my 200 moving average marked on here, 764. So I may not actually get this one. There's that wick. Green is for sell or puts. Some of you may have red, and blue is for buys. So you can see it wicked off. This is, oh, that's the 3 minute. Come down to the 1 minute. So it's just, there's that 759 area. It's at 766 at the moment. So that's what I mean about they can carry on down with the momentum off the quarters. We take trades on the hour, 15 minute, 30 minutes and 45. They can have some momentum still left in them. You see it wanted to push up on the hour. It did that probe, but it just carried on in this move. But these key levels, that 750 quarter point, and also this moving average at 759, 760 round about there. So I don't know if I'm going to get this one. It will move. It's still at the bottom down here. So that's the timing part of how we trade. I'm just refreshing this screen. So because of the currency strength meter, I only want to be taking calls. I was looking at this before I came on the session. The US dollar is a put, so you can see that's still, that is holding, that's stopping the Australian dollar from climbing because it's still it's going to tank, but it's overbought. It just needs, it's coming up a bit more. So I can't roll over. You can see that 200 moving average. This is just the strength of the dollar, this chart here. So I may not win that trade. And at 5 past, I may take another entry once I see this tank, because at that payout, I won't then be too far behind on recovering a winning position if this one loses. But we'll go back and see what it's doing in a minute. I'll just come back down to the currency itself, which is still a call, 773, call score of 3. We do take them at 3 and above. You see it's not quite bottomed out. It did have a sell before. There's that wick. It's at 758, 757. So it's just that probe. I don't know if I can move that. That probe there, I can't move that line to see where the probe finished, but it's coming off this midline, so it may still have some momentum downwards. 757, it's just sticking a little bit before it turns. Again, you can see clearly, if you drew a trend line, this upward momentum. Let me find the trend line. And I've lost that trade, I heard it click. That closed at 761, and I was in at around the 773 mark. So we're dealing in the last 3 digits, so points and a pip. I think it's 10 points in a pip. So we're right down in these minuscule amounts, which is why we're so tight on our entries, and think carefully about the leverage and the rollovers. By leverage, we mean what percentage of your account you're going to risk. Because when you roll over, if you're on one of those brokers, it will increase the risk, but it also increases the payout. So it increases the risk 30% in the payout accordingly. So you can see this is still down at this 755 level. It's still thinking about when it's going to turn. That's because the US dollar is holding it below at the moment, stopping it turning, and it dipped down there 3 minutes past the 748. Let me look at 753. It's giving us a call score of 5. Let's look on here. There it is on that line. So again, it can still decide it wants to come down. If it's let's have a look where we are here. 760. So 5 minutes, 756. So it's just 550. I'm looking at where it was, because these are 5-minute candles that we trade for 3 minutes, so sometimes with a rollover. So at 5 past, it hit the 759, which was that mover average. Then it dipped down, trying to touch that quarter point, 750. So my next trade is going to be at 15 minutes past, because I think I've missed this one. If I'd come in, because sometimes I find it a little bit difficult when I'm talking as well, 756 at 6 minutes 35 past the hour, I could have taken another entry there. I'm not going to take one now. It's already moved and making its move now. Let's go back to our trading view. It's going to struggle at that 773, which is an old 15-minute line. These purple lines, we use something called key levels. Let's put it back on the 5-minute candle to show you, because this is what we're trading. So you can see it touch that 756. There's the entry at 5 past. It whipped right down off that 10 a.m. UK time, which is why I lost the trade. It just did that extra strength in it, and it's just coming up, taking that level now. So its next struggle bus area is going to be that 772, which was my entry. That you can see why I lost it, and it is on its way up. So we know that, and you can see it. You can see it clearly here. But with these big currencies, they can do these probes down. So you have to watch for these key levels and take your trades off these key levels and be prepared to roll over if you're using that kind of broker. And at 87%, it's going to be more volatile. The brokers are prepared to pay you more because they know it's swinging quite fast. So there it is, it's making its move now. So if I had pressed the button at that 6:35 here, I would have been well in profit winning that trade, and I would have offset, only be 13% down on my account from losing my test trade as an open on the hour. And confident. The only reason I didn't was because I was kind of talking at the time. But I know where I am for the day. Oh, it's 81% now. I know where I am for the day in terms of where I want to be with my account. We aim for 5% a day if we can, per session. I usually take 1 or 2 trades per hour. If I haven't done what I need to in the London session, I'll come back on for the New York session, and that will be 2 p.m. my time, 1 p.m. UK time. So it's just come back to this level again. There's that probe. It's just falling back because of that hit coming through that 15-minute line, and it's hitting another one there. So that's why you see these bars moving up and down the way they do, because they have to get through these levels. So let's just go back to HourGlass and see what's happening on here. So you can see it moved up to the Bollinger Bands, these red and green lines. These are just slightly different settings, inner, middle and outer. And price will always want to touch the Bollinger Bands. If it's in an upward trend, which you can see clearly this pair is, then it will come back to test various key levels or the midline and then carry on up. We've got the 200 moving average still in our favor, and we've got the currency in our favor as well. So when I come back to refresh this, my next trade now is that 15-minute past. And often with these strong Forex majors, they can go straight through on the 15-minute. My best trades are usually on the hour and the half hour, and you really only need 2 trades an hour to get the growth that you want in your account. So again, looking at the strength of we need the US dollar to be falling if we are going to take buys or calls on the Australian dollar. And you can see at the moment the US dollar has bottomed out, and it's saying you can see this significantly being weak all morning, and this algorithm is saying it's now hit the ramparts. You know, it wants to bounce back up the other way. So if that is going to be a call, then that will push the Aussie down, which is not what we want. So we just come back, check our currency strength meter and refresh the screen. So it's still, I think, going to be 6 bars to 1. So I still want to just be buying that. So if we come out to the hourly, let's just take a pause since we opened at 11. You see again that significant line up here, these whole numbers. These are what we call key levels where price has been and will return to. We're never quite sure of the time scale, but and it will vary according to the time frame as well. But you can see that it's moved down from this level, and it needs to balance itself out. It's got like a missing gap, and the 200 moving average is another key level. It's a rolling line of support, and so price is probably aiming for this area now. That's on the hourly. We're not trading the hourly, but I'm showing you the overall context. Green is Tokyo, yellow is London. So you can see price has decided the Australian, the Aussie as we call it, is moving up in London. And it could be because it wants to balance out what's happened over here on this left-hand side. We always look left to see what's going to happen right, and that was the 17th of September, so earlier this week. So we come back down to the 15-minute. So I want to see what's happening with my, actually I'll put it on the hourly, just show you where I draw the lines. So we have an indicator that does this for us. My yellow is hour, so I'm just going to pop these up here to show you. There's a close saying it wants to go up, and then the new open of the hour has taken that level at 773. I lost that 10 a.m. UK time trade because of that probe down, and I was on fixed time, but it did indeed. I was talking, otherwise I would have taken an offsetting position at the 5 past, in fact 6 minutes 30, as I showed you on my broker, and I would have won that trade. And at that time it was paying out at 87%. It dropped to 81. So I know in my head what figures I've got in order to make up the money that I want to, the 5% to 8% a day that we aim for per session. And I would have won that next one, but I didn't because I was talking. So I've got one to make up at the moment. So that's the yellow line, shows you the new hourly. This is current price, and I'll just move that, show you the highest level that it got to, put that 829. So that's really all I want to mark on these hourlies. Come down to the 15-minute, I use the purple line. I'm not going to mark that one because there's no fat on it, and I've got my previous yellow and purple there, so I can see my key levels. I'm just going to move that one there to show me that it was round about, that was that trade that I lost. It just dipped down below that key level at 750. And you can see it's now using these as support, its floors and ceilings. Come down to the 5-minute. We're actually on the 11:15, so I've probably just missed a trade. Usually price will, it's just doing a slight reverse actually, slight dip back before it'll carry on up for the half hour. So it's just actually just come back to that key level of 777. Let me see what HourGlass says. To say, sometimes it's a bit difficult talking and trying to do one's own trades. It was a put on the 15-minute. Now, if we look here, it's a put score of 2. We take them of 3 and above. So I don't like that position anyway. I know that it struggles at this area because it was a previous 15-minute line. If you look left, you can see it used it there as a ceiling, as resistance over there. So I know it's on its way up, but it's going to struggle to get through 773, that sort of area. But we've got that nice moving average showing its supporting price. We've got 51 to 24 here, and it's not quite in the green areas. We like 4 greens, so we like our momentum indicator to be right down here. It says B for buy beforehand. So we actually see that probe there coming down to this midline. We want to catch that on the half hour, hopefully down back at this level, because these are very strong currency pairs, the Forex majors, anything with the US dollar in it, and then see it carry on up. So 755, and you can take these reversals. We wouldn't take a put score of 2 because it's kind of sitting in the middle of nowhere really, but they are more risky because you're going against the trend. And when I say you don't have to be, when we learn, we just keep pressing the button. But as you get more patient and get more confident in your trading and know that you enjoy it, you will just want to sit for your hour and take the 1 or 2 quality trades. And if you don't get them, or you're just taking one like I've done and you've lost it, maybe I'll take one up the half hour or the 45, probably the half hour, then maybe the 45, and maybe I'll stay on for the next hourly. If I don't get what I want then, or I'm one behind, or if I've gone 1-1, or maybe I'll go one loss, 2 wins, then I kind of know where I am, or I'll come back on for the New York session. I was on Tokyo session because I happened to be up, so I did 1 trade at the open of the market and I won that one. I'm not always up doing Tokyo, which is 2 a.m. my time, but I was last night. So not too much damage this morning because it was paying out. As I say, I'm only, I think it was paying out at 87% when I took the trade, so I'm only 13% off, and that's why we like the higher payouts. We don't take trades where the payouts are below 70%, and that's because you need 7 out of 10 to grow your account. And we do have a compounding withdrawal spreadsheet that Les created that computes it all for you. You just need to keep track of your daily progress. In fact, I've decided now I don't trade Mondays because I traded yesterday, which is why I was on Tokyo, and I find it too volatile for me. So I've even cut my trading down to Tuesdays to Fridays now, and that's what will happen as you get further on learning this and getting into a rhythm with it. So let's see where we're going to be on the 20 past. Let's say we wait for the quarters. This is back on the 5-minute. There was that upper level 784, which it called as a put, so that you would have won that. I try not to take these reversal trades now. And its lowest line 757, which is where we were before on the 1 minute, where it hit a moving average. See where we are with that. It's just off that moving average there. That's called the 62. So that's where I entered on the 11, and I just lost it. And there at 6 minutes past, it did the move that I wanted it to make, but I didn't have time. I didn't make time, rather, to press the button. So you can see it is. I'm going to put a vertical line on because I'm going to look at a trade on the half hour. Just to remind me, you can use an indicator for this. There it is. So I can see now, I'm down on the 1 minute, it's coming back like a magnet. If you look left, can you see where price, these blue bars represent buy candles, calls? The green ones you may want red. I don't like red because it reminds me of bad marks at school. Teachers used to cross stuff out, so I put green on. But you can see how it respected this line of support, and it touched it again here. It's being held at the moment by this blue line, 15-minute one at 757. So that is only like about nearly 0.8 of a pip. So very, very near to touching it. We've got hidden bull here, which means directional trend is still up. And here's our 200 moving average. So it's done its pullback. It's at 20 past. I don't take trades usually. I will at 5 past, as I say, off the hourly. I don't usually take them at 20 or even 25 past. I'll wait for 31, 32 minutes past, because as if you're on at the very beginning, you'll see what happens with the momentum in the pair before it makes the turn, makes the move that you want it to make. I'm just going to refresh this screen again. Got plenty of time to get ourselves set up, thinking what we want to do. And what you can also do as you get more advanced is compound the money from your first trade onto your second trade. And that, that works very nicely as well. So this is the strength of the dollar. The dollar's saying it's a put, so it's just coming up to the red, to the overbought area on the 5 minute. So what's happened here, it's been in this downward momentum. You can see that 200 moving average, and it's come down, it's done a retest. So we need that to start to tank, go the other way if we're going to take the Aussie for a call. So let's go down, scanner, the various scanners that we use. I just default to this one, and Les does some of the others on his sessions. 49 to 26, so the Aussie's dropped a little bit in strength. It's a call at 751, which is just off that quarter theory, which is very powerful, and it is off those green lines, and it's a call score of 3, a little probe down. Now, as I say, it's very tempting to take this because I know it's off that quarter theory and that midline. That's very powerful. It's just that strength in the pair that sometimes it will carry on to the half hour. So it's tempting. You can take this if you want to. And there it's gone right down to the 200 EMA on the 1 minute, which is at 736. And that's what happens. So it doesn't mean it's failing. It doesn't mean it's now dropping. What it means is that a strong pair like this still says hidden bull. It's in the oversold areas on our divergence and our stochastic and RSI, which are our relative strength. These are our momentum indicators. It's still, this is the divergence, which shows you how it's a bit of a lagging indicator, as most indicators are, but it shows you either where the reverse is or the overall directional trend. And this is telling us bull means buys, bearish is for sells. So it's just come off that, and this is the strength. There's my half-hour line. So this is what can happen with these pairs, because there's another area here for us to watch out for down here. So that's why we stick to the market timing of the quarters, because we've been taught that by people far more experienced and with massive accounts. You see it's wicked off that now. So it's coming back to that next key level. It's quite a weak little candle there, and put it back on the 5 minutes. We're coming up to the last 5-minute candle before the half hour. Beautiful candle there, because it's rested and wicked off our quarter point at 750. So that's a good indication now that it's stopping this momentum down. And let's see what happens on the next 5-minute one. I'm still going to be patient for the half hour because of these wicks. Look at HourGlass again. It says a call, and it is down in that green area. So you've got your greens, got a call score of 3 on the. It's just going to turn. There's our seconds. 3, 2, 1. It'll give us, I would think, another call. Let's see what this next one is. A call at 742, and that was that dip down off that probe you saw down. So again, I will, because I'm trading live and I record the results, I will be patient, wait for the half hour, and it's a call score of 2. So that says there's still some, that could mean there's still some strength in the US dollar. Now, if you're on a broker with rollover, you could go for this and decide you're going to roll over. I'm on fixed ones, so the dollars are put, so that's good for us for buying that. And you can see it is now tanking. So that's what we want if we're going to be buying the Aussie. So just come back to that. So you can take these 5-minute ones. I just prefer now to stick to my rhythm and stick to my routine, because there's always another trade coming along and I don't want the stress. Call score of 2, so it's at 752, and the reason it's sticking is because it will be on the struggle bus at these major levels, and that's that 750 quarter point level, but it's off this midline. We know that we know we've got everything in our favor. We've got the currency strength, the 200 moving average. We're off our oversold areas, these greens. It doesn't say B for buy here, it did back here. Be nice if a B for buy comes up. And we've got that midline, and we know the overall directional trend is up, and the dollar weighted against opposing currencies is selling, losing strength. So that's all in our favor on the half hour to be buying the Australian dollar. So I'm just going to come back, and there's on this 5-minute one, there's that wick, and that's why it's struggling. It's holding that line very nicely, which is where we want it to be, and it's just going to stick a little bit at that 758, which is only a 5-minute. These shorter time frames are weaker lines, but if you look left, you can see it acted as resistance and then broke through. Here it acted as resistance, really. It did break through. That's the banks buying and selling towards the end of Tokyo, which is why it's come up to a major level up there towards the hourly. But really it was resistance, and then it carried on down until Tokyo closed, which is 11 a.m. my time, 10 your time in UK, and they're also held it there. So if I look on the 1 minute, we're coming up to 3 minutes before the half hour, and a lesson learned from DL Woods, you know, never ever get into a trade at 28 or 29 minutes before the half hour, because price can do weird things, and it's the same on the hour at 10 minutes to the hour. So I'm just on this 1 minute looking at that's our 750 line here. This is the 1 minute. So I just want the best entry that I can get on the half hour. 28 minutes past. Look over here, I've got 46 seconds left to go. So 2 more minutes, and then as I say, you can still, and I know it's moving up now, but you can still get these sudden probes down. So I like to 25 minutes past. So you would have won that trade if you had taken that trade at that 752 level. You would have been okay on that one. I think there we are. It's just touching that hourly at 776. It's back up at that level. So I can't help that. If I've missed it, I've missed it. Sometimes that happens. It's taken that quarter point at the 25 past. I don't want to be taking puts on this. I'm not going to do that, even though it's off that 776 hourly line. I'm going to wait and see what the next, there's that, it's dropping back now. So if it drops back to that 758, there's a call there, 40 seconds to go. It has moved off those green areas. I might take an entry here. 30 seconds to go. You look on the 1 minute. So I'd really like it to come back to 758. Actually, if it came back to 763, it's at 765, and it is going to struggle. It's got to get a precise entry because it's going to struggle at that 776 again. So I want it off that. Oh, look at that cheeky little thing. 761. 761. We're at 29 minutes past. See what happens here. It'll be another call. Let it click round. Oh, it's given us a put at 756. Well, I don't like that, and it's got a buy there. 758. That's not a put in my book. Where am I on here? It's already at 777. It's 81%. Get rid of that line now. Put it on the 5 minute. Now you're probably saying, well, why isn't it a put if that's what the scanner is saying? And a scanner is an algorithm, so it adds up a certain number of items, and what it's adding up here means that it is thinking about those key levels. I presume I don't know the programming, and I can only look at what's happened before. But you've got it off the green line. You've got the B for buy. I don't know what the dollar's doing, but it was a put. You've got the currency strength in your favour and the 200, and it is the half hour, and it's off this midline. So I would not be taking a put on that. So it's just, you know, algorithms. These help us make our decisions, but they are, you know, things that we use in conjunction with other analysis that we do. And as I say, the trend is your friend. Now that's the dollar's a call. It's still bottomed out. So it hasn't turned yet. And you can see blue means price is still going up. We have got a B for a buy. It's at 768. So I'm well in profit on this trade. I took it at 1:31 minutes, 27 seconds past the hour at that 763 level. And the reason I took it at that level, if I come to the 1 minute, there is because there is that something we call the 62 moving average, and it wicked off that, and I was at the half hour. I had a little blue buy candle. I had a blue candle up to that 777, so price will hit that area on this 3 minute trade. So I should still, and it's just dropping back a little bit, but for 3 minutes fixed time, I hope still be okay. I've got, if I look up here.
Cleared mine, Sarah.
Hey?
Just cleared mine.
Oh, well done. I've got 50. Mine's just dropped. Yeah. 764. So 765. So mine I'm on fixed time. So mine might be a matter of timing. Is it going back up 6-7? So you see, it did open off that previous blue at the 763. As I said, it's just struggling at this hourly and 15-minute 767. So it's when I've got 12 seconds. Oh, the little, can't swear on this, can I? Go on, pop back up. So again, I've just been unfortunate. Go on, get back up. Quick, quick, quick. So I've just been unfortunate with that one as well for me. Oh, look at that, it's just gone 763. So sometime, there we are, I've just missed that by, well, that's just, you know, sod's law. So got everything correct. Wouldn't have done anything any differently. It just caught me in the dip there, and that sometimes happens. So it's when price is trying to get, so I'm 0-2 on this session, but it's when price is trying to get through these areas. And what you want to be looking at once you've worked out the overall trend is where your key levels are. So we had that candle, I'm on a 5-minute now, we had that candle very nicely off the same level. It engulfed this previous one, but price will always struggle when it comes to just want to punch through, particularly the hourly or a white, the daily, but you know, in this case we had the 15-minute as well. So if I come down to the 1 minute to show you why I lost that particular one, but so if I remain at the higher payouts, I still haven't got too much ground to make up, which I'm pretty sure I will do today. And as I said, I did one winning trade at Tokyo at 2 a.m. You know, you keep a focus on what happens on each session, because there isn't any panic in this. If you don't get what you need to out of one session, then come back on New York, 2 p.m. I come back on to trade between 2 and 4 UK time. So that's 3 p.m. my time. But as you can see on the 1 minute, it's respected this 62 moving average, and I got in at 31, this one, for 3 minutes. So it went up, it hit the hourly, that stopped it in its tracks a bit, it fell back for the next 2 minutes, and that's why I lost it. And it just wicked down there, and then the 34, as you saw on the broker, off it went, and it managed to get through that hourly. So if you do your analysis correctly and you lose the trade, don't lose confidence, because it's just one of those things that happened. Then Les won the trade. These 5 candles from the 30, that one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, make up your 5-minute candle. So because it's a strong currency pair, you see that solid bottom there with no wick, that means that's solid orders. So that was a strong candle. In that instance, I could have pressed the button exactly on the half past. But with this pair, I've learned that it can carry on with a little bit of momentum for the next 1 or 2 minutes. So often now I will wait deliberately till the 31 or the 32, sometimes even 33. So because I did that, I lost the trade. Normally it will mean I will win it, because if I take it exactly on the half hour, often it can carry on down. But actually what I should have read in this is probably that flat bottom, even though it's smaller than that previous sell candle, you know, there's a solid little move up, and it was held on that rolling moving average there. So let's just have a look at that candle on the 5-minute. This is your half-hour candle on the 5-minute time frame, and it made a very nice move up through that hourly. So it's still on its way up. So my next trade now is 45 minutes. So I'm just going to check what the hourly candle looks like. And the hourly candle has not got a lot in it. It's not as big a move as that previous one from when we start to trade the London session. Here it is going up. So that was its open at 9 a.m. London. It doesn't like this 750 level, but equally it's sticking at 776. This hourly, previous hourly close is holding it a little bit. That's what we need to be looking at. I've marked that upper level, and that was the upper level of the previous one. I don't need to mark this one anymore because I've got a daily down there, that white line. So and it's moved quite a bit further up. So I'll just getting my bearings. Look on the half hour, what happened to the 30-minute. Well, what happened? We had a sell candle on the hour, 10 a.m. at 797. There's that 773 where I lost that trade on the hour, but I would have won it on the 5 past. I could have offset it. I would have only been 13% down on that one trade, but I was talking at the time. And this half hour candle opened as a buy where the previous one closed, but it's sticking at that previous hourly line and wicking off it. So lost a little bit of strength at the moment for this hour. And on the 15-minute, it is actually a pullback down, back down. It's trying to come back down, although it's wicking off this level. Now this is at what we call a major level. So if you look here, it held it as resistance, and it's coming back to test that level, but it did wick. It did try and probe down, but it wicked off it. So all these probes are saying it's trying to come back down at the moment. And that could be because of all this area here on the left that it now wants to, because it always creates imbalance whenever price moves anywhere. It'll create more imbalance as it balances up something else. So it's looking maybe at this area, or maybe even to come down to this 663 level. Just seeing, I did have 673 marked before. That's 681, which is a daily. And you can see how it loves that level there at the 701 as well, but it's still got to get back through this level. So at the moment it was a buy, but you can see it's just stalling out. And we'll check our currency strength meter because of that. I'm back on the 5-minute, which is our default position for our trading. That's an old 5-minute line of support. I'll just tidy that up a bit. And that was the open up there. So the stronger level is the yellow one. These are little 5 minutes, and there's a 15-minute there. So what I'm going to do now is check my currency strength meter, see if the Australian dollar has lost strength. It was at 6 bars to 1. I'm just sticking with the one pair. These days I trade fewer than 5 pairs. My preference at the moment is the Aussie, and then I would look at US JPY. At the moment you can see why it's a great payout. It's still 6 bars on its strength to 1. We only really want to be taking calls or buys. The trend is your friend. And the reason you don't have to trade so many pairs is because you'll build your confidence. You just kind of like sitting with one pair. I mean, it did drop to 50 or 60% payout in Tokyo, so I left it alone after I'd done one, because you don't want to be bothering. You don't want to be bothering with that. But there's no need to keep flicking around. And all these bottom ones I never even look at all. And I certainly don't trade euro or GBP in when they're live, which is London session. Those two plus the Swiss franc are the 3 London session pairs. So mine would be look at the strongest bars either way. So in this case, and make sure the payout's 70% and above. UJ means you could take calls or puts, but you know, why would you do that if you've got a decent payout on the Aussie? So let's look back at HourGlass as we come up to the 45-minute mark. See where it is on this scanner. You've got all these scanners along here. You've got 3 that you can use under this strategy. I'm using one called Liberty. So you can find one that suits your visual or your learning trading style. So the dollars are put, that's good. Put score of 2, so it's sticking a little bit. Come back to the, this is a call at 756. So again, it's off that quarter point. Again, the 750 call score of 3. Again, it's, as you saw on the shape of the bar with the probe, particularly on the hourly, it's stuck in the middle. There's not a lot of movement, but it is nicely held off the 750 level, which we know is a very important line. So if I just mark it on there for you, and I always put it in orange. If you always use the same colors, then your subconscious brain gets trained. You see how it's beautifully holding that level and off the midline. So this is, although it's not down on the green level, and we're on the 45, I could wait for the hour, see what happens, but potentially a call here. 30 seconds to go. Let me look on here. I'm on the 5 minute. I'll come to the 1 minute because the problem 776. So this is the problem with taking a trade on the 45. 767 is my 62 EMA. I've got a 15-minute line. 773, which has held us up all this session, and there's that hourly at 776 or thereabouts. So this is the trade in a very narrow trading range. So if I take that now, which I could do off that 62, then it could come up here and drop back in the 3 minutes fixed time that I would be in the trade. And I've only got 0.71 pip. So that's 10, which is quite a lot for us, but you can see it's struggling. So it's a little bit risky for me. I'd like to take it as a call, I really would, but I think I'm going to be patient and wait for the hour. I don't want to be 0.3 down, so it's just a bit slow refreshing. Put it back on the 5 minute, and that's simply why it's stalling. So you've got everything else in your favor. It's just where those key levels are. Just looking for oh, and there's our 200 moving averages right down there. 76759. So it's look on HourGlass. So it's back at 752. It's back at that quarter point. It's not quite down in the green area. In fact, it says S for sell. Still don't want to be taking puts myself. So we could wait until the 50. See what's the dollars doing. But you know, there's no point in taking trades you're not going to win. That sounds such a truism, doesn't it? But why do that? Why not just wait for the hour and see if you get the turn on the hour with it? Put score, put on the dollar. It is overbought. It's right up at the top. It's off that midline. So that's good for a call. That should free up the Aussie to go up. So it's put at 763. It's got 2 minutes 45 to go off this 45-minute candle. So you don't want to be doing anything with it at the moment. It has wicked off that quarter point, but we like to use precision trading and segment it. And by segmenting it, I mean generally think of your clock on the hour that you're on your session, take a trade on the hour. As I said, it could be 5 past. You saw that in the momentum at the beginning. Take a trade on the hour, the 15 minute, the 30, the 45 and the hour. So that will stop you getting confused and help you keep clarity on your trading, because the markets are always open. We trade Monday to Friday, not against the brokers on what they call OTC, over the counter at weekends. So, you know, you can fit this in with your work, or get up early, or after the kids are in bed and have had their tea. We don't trade after 9 PM UK time up until 1 AM UK time for Tokyo. It's not a good time to be trading because of what the brokers are doing. So see, it's hovering around this level, 760. So, you know, I didn't want to take that, but that indecision with that probe there, it's come down to the 1 minute. So again, it's coming off that moving little orange moving average. I'm sorry, there's all these lines, so you'll get to know what they are over a period of time. It's just reflecting what's on that scanner with the Bollinger Bands. I've just got one little old favorite of mine from a previous strategy I used to do. So it's now back on that line, 50 minutes past the hour. It's making that 45-minute move. And I have learnt that, as I say, and I've learnt that off the hourly. It moved at 5 minutes. On the half hour, I was in slightly late. It actually did it on the 30, which is unusual. And this 45-minute move is happening on the 50. So sometimes when I'm trading on my own and I'm intensely concentrating, then, you know, I will press the button. But the gap here, 766 up to that hourly, you can see it's just 776, 20 seconds to go. You know, it's got to make that break through that. So this is why we're time-based traders, very precision trading. It's great because you can make, in theory, all the money you want to, the same as Forex trading without being in trades for a long time. It is a particular style. Now it's moved off that hourly. That means it's free to go. It's using that as support up for the hour. So it's moving up for the hour. And we just prefer this because it's incredibly powerful and you can fit it in with a busy lifestyle or shift work or part-time working, etc., etc. And you're not got the stress of stop losses and big leverage and pips in Forex. We do Forex, but again, we do scalping, which of using these scanners that Les has brought to us as well. So if you want to know more about that, you can join us on a Friday. You see it's just using that level. But it did it at 50, 50 instead of 45. So you're saying, well, Sarah, you know, on the 45, it gave us a sell and it was overbought and overbought. Yes, but as I say, these are algorithms and we use these as confirmations in conjunction with the other things that I've been telling you about today. So it's like learning to drive. You're just reading a roadmap and you know, sometimes the sat nav can say do this, but you know that actually the better route is, you know, do something slightly different. So it's a similar thing. It's just getting a little bit more finesse and refinement in your trading as you go along. You'll you know, understand how to read these things. And certainly when I don't have this working, I miss it a lot. I really do use it as a fantastic sat nav dashboard for confirmations. So you can see this major level here, how price has respected it all the way through and coming up to the hour. So I've been on since just before, a couple of minutes before 11. I'll just stay on probably for the hour to see what I think of the trade on the hour. So it's moving up to the Bollinger Bands. It's given a put score of 3. Not really of interest to me to trade pullbacks. I don't really like that style. I'd rather go with the trend. But on the hour, we do know that any pair, particularly the majors that we trade, can decide that they're going to move the opposite way. So like the half hour, well, it took a dip back, but it didn't go right back down the Bollinger Bands. So I'm just trying to see if I've got, I can move that out the way to look at the timing. I'm on UTC +3. And I've found in the past, if I move this now, it glitches things, but I don't know if it's sorted now. So I've left, oh, that seems to be fine. So at 10 a.m., which is 9 a.m. open of London, let's have a look at what price did. So at 9 a.m. it didn't really do, we don't trade at that time. stayed below the midline, just carried on. 10 a.m. is when we start to trade. Price moved up. There's the 15-minute. Did actually turn on the 15-minute, doesn't always do that. There's the half hour, and then it came back for the half hour, up for the hour, 10:55. Moved a little, it moved slightly, it moved down, started its move down before. This is the 5-minute, remember. And then at 11, it went up to 11:15, back down for 11:30, so 10:30 UK time, and 10:45, it's just moved up again. So it's going a little bit flat now as we come up 5 minutes to the hour. So what I want is a pull back to that 760 level to carry on, I think, taking a call, because again, get yourself set up so you've got time to check everything. Got 6 minutes to go. We've still got, I would not want to be selling the Aussie, so the 6 bars to 1, even if the price turns on the hour, I'll just say, all right, well, I'm not going to do any trading then. Our hourglass, I look at, just go back up, sorry, it happens to be the top one for the dollar, and the Aussie's right at the bottom. Dollar's a call, which means I don't want to be buying the Aussie at the moment. Just a bit slow refreshing the screen. Sort itself out. That's it. So that's bottomed out. It is saying it wants to do a pullback, but we know it's still in a downward trend. So we need to wait for that to say a put. So 5 minutes before the hour, I'd like it to go up as much as possible and then drop. And then on the hour, take a call on the Aussie. It was less than a minute ago, 766, which I know is that area where it's been sticking. Sorry, I don't know why the machine's gone to there. Sort itself out in a minute. So I've got, it's sort of hovering in the middle of our overbought and oversold lines, which means it could go either way. It's hovering on the midline. It's only a call score of 2. I'd like to see it pull back again to that. And that's, you see, you had a put at 772, which must have been up near that hourly line. And our call is at 766. So our trading range is quite tight in order to, that's why we need to judge our entries with precision, because otherwise, certainly me on the 3-minute fixed time, I won't have time. Like I lost that second trade, it pulled back on me within that 3-minute fixed time, and then it took off. And that's just, you know, sometimes happens. But when you're on the higher payouts, you can make the money up without too much difficulty. So I'm going to go over to my trading view. And still on that hourly support at that 776. And its top level on a daily and an hourly is at that 797. But a big probe up there to the next one. And this hour it's fallen back, but you've got a huge, what we call bullish engulfing candle there. And it's chosen that level for this next hour. And I've still got that 62 is just supporting it very nicely. So, and it's wicked down, but it didn't make any move down back towards that 750. So we do know it's still in an upward momentum. But if we come down to the levels where we trade, it's straddling our hourly and it's just sticking on that 787. So 3 minutes to go. Had what we call bearish divergence there, which means you could have taken a sell. And I've got my stochastic RSI, which are our momentum indicators, up in that overbought area. But my 200 moving average is still well beneath, acting as a floor. Here we are on the 5 minute, which, as I said before, is our default position for where we trade, 3 minutes within a 5-minute bar or candle. It's off that 15-minute line at 773. I don't want to take puts, but it may well turn on the hour, but it's not something I'm going to do. I'm going to, as I'm 0-2, I shall come back on for, because you get, I find, because it's about intense concentration, it's the only job that will pay you more for the fewer hours you do. My brain gets a little bit tired, and you don't want to be forcing trades when you're a bit tired. It's best to come back later. And I'm just going to look on the 1 minute as we come up to 1 minute for the hour. What's HourGlass going to tell us? A call at 766. It was only a call score of 2. And there's that 789 level. So I think I'm going to leave it, because unless it pulled back, I don't want to take a put on the hour, and unless it pulls back, 9 seconds to go, which obviously 782. $787 up to, should go up to 797. I haven't really got a strong enough level that I want, or I could see that resistance there has become support at 783. Let's see what HourGlass is telling us. It's saying a put at 784, and it's a put score of 4. It's off that Bollinger Band. It's you've not got the currency strength in your favour. You've not got the EMA in your favour. It is overbought. It is overbought. You haven't got the S&P. You did have one back there. You could take this. It is going against the trend. I'm not going to, but you could, or you don't have to do nothing. It's whipped off that line, 791. I just think that I don't want to be a position of 0-3. I'd rather come back on later. And also, that's the 5 minute. It's off that 15-minute line. So it could carry on up to this major level 795, as it is such a strong pair. I've just put it down on the 1 minute. And there it goes up to that. That's what happens with these strong pairs. They push on through, because that candle here is still blue. So you need to read these, and these are things that help us make a decision. They're not the be all and end all. It's not 100% just what we use. Visually, I find it really powerful. I find the chart very easy to follow. I do like the algorithm. I like the 5 minute time frame. I love the way these ideas, trade ideas we call them, we're not professional traders. We're not allowed to give you entries and exits and precise terms anyway. This is to help you make your decision to increase the probabilities. So the candle's turned red now at 2 minutes past the hour. As I said, it often happens with these strong pairs. And if you look on the 5 minute, that'll be reflected in a probe, which will show, there you are, that shows the dropping back of the price. So that's why I don't want to take this as a put. It's a personal decision. You can, but you know, I like to look. There it goes. I like to look at the overall trend. It's gone right back to that major level, 775 at 3 minutes past. I'm going to come to the 1 minute to see, is that a reversal or is it a retrace back because of the strength of it? Oh, it's come back to that 62 again, 771. Or is it, as it looks like, an hourly reversal? Can't see. It's the directional trend. I've got a directional trend. And let's see what the new hour opened as then. It's probably, there it is, it's opened as a sell. And that's what happens with these big pairs. They can, you know, so I need to move that line down. So you could have taken that. I didn't want to be in 0-2 down. So 785, it's opened as a sell for this new hour. Big strong move down. And if you look at the previous hour, a probe up, a long probe down. So that probably was an indication that it now wants to balance out some of its previous moves. So you just learn to read the candles and take one or two quality trades. If I had had my wits more about me, I would have pressed the button on that 5 past the hour. So I would have been, instead of 2 down, I would have been, lost 1, I would have won 1, I would have been 1, 1, 2. But that's okay, that's just the way it pans out. So I'm going to stop, it's gone right back down now, hasn't it? Right down, 751, right back on that quarter point. And there it's wicking off it. And what time are we? At the 5 past candle. So let's just, I'm going to finish now, but let's just see if it gives us, is it going to give us a call? It's a call at 756 and it's a call of 3. So I wouldn't be adverse to taking that if I was trading on my own. I'm not going to risk it on this because I want to finish now. If I come down to the 1 minute, I don't know, it's pressing down. I wouldn't take that because it's below the hourly open. I've got a wick off there. This is on the 1 minute. So personally, I don't think it, I think it's finished some of its upward move at the moment. And I wouldn't be taking that for a call myself. But that's also because I've been, and it's below that midline, I've been on the session an hour and I'd rather, it's not quite down on the RSI. I've seen this happen as well at this time of day before when I've been trading this. I thought, oh, that's fine. That's all set up for a call. I will take the call. And then I've lost it. So that's taught me when I'm looking at this, I've lost it before, lost the trade before when I've taken this as a call and it's been below that yellow hourly and particularly below, in this case, you've got the 15-minute, you don't have to use too many indicators, but I got it below that 62. So that's stopping it. So in my opinion, from my past experience where I've lost the trade exactly in this situation off the hour at this time of day, I wouldn't take that as a call. And I don't care if it does move up, you know, that's fine, but that's not what I do anymore if I see that. So it's back up at that hourly level. This is on the 5 minute, of which there's 3 minutes still to go. And back to the 1 minute. It's so it has moved above the 62, but it's still held by that level. So that's just me. It's wicked off that level now. And that's because that's happened to me before. That's a decision I've now made. And it's happened exactly at this time, my time, noon, exactly that setup with the hourly as the ceiling and where it's dropped below the 62 EMA. And I've said, oh no, but everything's set up, I will take the call. And then it's carried on tanking. You can see now this indecision. There's no fat in the candle. The bar is gone. It's just probes. So I would have lost that trade if I had taken it. And that's the things you learn to read, and it's experience of when you've taken 1 or 2 trades where these key levels are that you then learn, oh no, I'm going to leave that one alone. So I'm glad I left that one alone because that's dropping off that hourly open. So I hope that's been helpful. I will post this to YouTube. Just have a look at what the chat says. Where's my chat gone? Oh, 2-0. Well done, Les. Good man. So thanks very much for joining. And it'll be Les tomorrow. I'll be back on Friday. And see you all soon. Post your results in the group. There you are. Look at that tanking now. And happy trading.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah,
Welcome.
thanks,
Thank you for
Sarah.
joining.